Everyone, my name is Patrick. Welcome back to Streets of Cadwallon. Today I am playing a game against Krill from the Discord, and we have something new for you today. I've taken a stab at creating a new scenario for play. So yeah, let's go into the details of the new scenario. This is going to be played on a 90 by 90 centimeter board. The terrain I'm using is actually someone put together a Malifaux board from Tabletop Simulator's workshop. I will put a link to it in the description below in case you all want to play on it as well. So a lot of scenery used for this scenario. It's primarily going to be a bunch of crates and barrels. The crates are roughly 4.5 centimeters by 9 centimeters. And then the barrels are roughly 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. If you're adapting this to a table, you could bump them up a little bit, use cards. Maybe the barrels are 2 cards. The crates could be 1 card. You can kind of play around with it there. I've created a little MS Paint to kind of roughly show you the location of the barrels. We'll go through their locations now. So crate 1 rather is 7.5 centimeters from the right edge and 12.5 centimeters forward, deployed horizontally. Crate 2 is 30 centimeters from the right edge and 10 centimeters forward, deployed vertically. Crate 3 is 35 centimeters from the left edge and 22.5 centimeters forward, deployed vertically. Crate 4 is centered at 45 centimeters and then 30 centimeters forward, deployed vertically. And the last one, crate 5, is 35 centimeters from the left edge and 40 centimeters forward, deployed horizontally. And again, this is a mirrored scenario, so your opponent would set up with the exact same dimensions from their table side. Lastly, the barrels which are the purple things here, are deployed 12.5 centimeters from the left edge and 30 centimeters forward. These are all centered locations. So with that, the objective of the scenario is going to be to destroy your opponent's crates. So my crates are here in blue, my opponent's crates are in red, and then you're also trying to control the barrels. Let's talk about destroying the crates first. All the crates are Res 5. The crates in the middle contested area are SP 4, which means it takes 4 wound levels to destroy them. And the crates in deployment zones are Res 5 as well, SP 3. So a little bit easier to destroy those ones because they're so difficult to get to. Destroying the enemy crates in the contested zone are going to grant you 3 points for every one destroyed. Destroying the ones in the deployment zones are going to give you 2 points for everyone destroyed. Lastly, controlling the barrels. So you have to control them, meaning that you have a model that is touching it and no enemy models are touching the barrels. At the end of the round, will grant you 1 point, and you can score both of them. So if you control both barrels for all rounds, that would net you all 6 rounds. That could net you a possible of 12 points. Destroying all your opponent's crates can net you an additional 13 points. So the maximum possible score for this is 25 points, but I think that's highly unlikely. Me and Krill did talk about this scenario afterwards. We both really like it, feel it's very balanced. Maybe tweaking some of the numbers and deployment could take a little additional work. We talked about how we really like that you're kind of split deployment, so you want to deploy some models on the left to easily score your barrels first turn. You want to obviously, it feels good to put a couple models on the right as a forward force to try to contest their barrels, prevent them scoring those early rounds. And then obviously there's a lot of attention to the middle of the table with both crates there for opponents. Little reminder on the scenario or destructible scenery. This is in Dogs of War, I believe, page 101. So you kind of salt pieces of scenery. You do not split them in a fray, meaning that after activations are all done, beginning of combat, you split frays. You cannot put them in an individual fray. However, if there is a model that is touching the scenery, and is also engaged, you can use your combat dice to actually attack the scenery instead of attacking your opponent. So let's say I have 3 combat dice and I put 2 in attack and 1 in defense, and I'm only engaging one additional model. On my first exchange of a combat, I can put one into my opponent, and then that second combat die I can immediately attack to attack the crates, and then the third combat die I use for defense. So you cannot, however, use both those combat dice immediately into the scenario or the scenery. It still acts as a model from that perspective. Scenery does not give pursuits, and you cannot pursuit into it. So if I were to kill a model and then pursuit into a crate, I can't resolve an additional combat. If there are no models engaging your model and it's next to a scenery, after all other combats resolved, that is when you would do those combats against those pieces of scenery. Scenery, when destroyed, does remove the crates.
So 3 plus
so that
1. Okay,
opens
cool.
up a lot of LOS. I really like this because I was playing the Legacy rule set, which
I am a 10 standing.
Crates and models block line of sight, so it's a little bit more restrictive from a line of sight perspective. So all this scenery in the middle, along with all the additional scenery you'll see on the table, really kind of adds a fun feeling to the game. So just to also mark or to help us track scenario points, I went and I grabbed tokens. You can use dice or whatever and put them on all the barrels. So here you see I have Wolfen tokens with 3 or 4 on them, indicating how many wound levels they have or SP structure points. And then I have Cynwall ones for my opponent here, tracking all theirs. So that I think explains the scenario pretty well. Let's go hop into it and get into the game. All right, so at this point we've already deployed. I have my 2 sentinels on the bottom left, followed by Syriac. In the middle I have 2 trackers, 1 Great Fang and the Predator of Blood, and then Great Wolfen Fang on the right there. Yeah, just playing this as 2 times speed because we don't really do much turn 1. A couple shots taken here and there, but nothing much. For tactical, I did roll. I think I won the roll to go first, moving just the Great Fangs up into position. He has Pulsar on the right, of majority of his force in the center, and then the constructs, Nova, or Quasar rather, and Gal, and then in the upper left corner with scouts, he has Akamo kind of deployed. So yeah, just a lot of positioning. And one thing I want to talk about, kind of get on my soapbox here about TTS, is just me and Krill, we played this game over 3 separate sessions, and the game took us probably real time under 2 hours. So the first session which was deployment, and this first round we played in less than 20 minutes. And a lot of this time is also just us getting back into the game, remembering the state we were in, setting our decks, getting into the swing and stuff. So first round or deployment and first round was in 20 minutes. Then we played round 2, which was really heavy in about 50 minutes. And then we finished the rest of the game in another like 40 minutes after that. And that was 3 different sessions. So TTS is great about saving game state. You can come back to it. Just a really great way for people to get in confrontation games, which, the community is fairly small. Great resource to get in. Here's Krill having problems sitting this Quasar on that ramp there. I try to help him out, and I just end up grabbing a base to use as proxy for him to go up there. So as you can see, Predator just came up. Fangs, his constructs came up, as well as Quasar. These Sentinels, I believe, aren't even shooting. I think they're just going to run into position. Yep. Yeah, so very, very limited action here on the first turn. Definitely want to score that point as we get into things here. Gal activates. I don't think he even has that. I think he realizes there's really not a whole lot to do turn 1, so he's going to sit on his whole stack and carry that over into the next round. We talked about a bit about this after the game. His Akamo probably could have been a little bit more aggressive with deploying them. I think you'll see throughout the course of the game that he is spending a majority of the time getting them into position rather than being up there and getting the most value out of their shots, as well as getting in the way to the block charges or tie models up. Here, Syriac does what he always does, which is just cast two Sylvians. I did say, so one of the cool things about Syriac is he has leadership. You're not often winning discipline, so you can fish for 5s and 6s, which he also has the spell Whim of Destiny. Whenever a 5 or a 6 is rolled within, I think it's within his aura or a certain distance within him, he can re-roll that die to immediately gain 4 temporary faith. So that's why he already started the game with 8 instead of his normal 4. So yeah, maybe again he did get in position with the scout to walk him up and take a shot here with one of them. I think it might have been better served for, or maybe he gets a shot with all of them rather. If he would have just ran everyone up, I think he would have been in better position for following terms. But he takes his shots. I don't think any of them hit. Their ranges are pretty short, so I think he needed 6s to hit there. Trackers are last to go. And I think this tracker here will actually try to chuck a spear. Oh, maybe he doesn't. Maybe I just run it up. Don't want to get too close. I have his pulsar is really fast here. I don't know if I mind tricked him here, but I kind of reminded him he wants to get into touching those barrels. So, but even with 40 centimeters or 20 centimeters of movements, 40 centimeters charging, he shouldn't have any problem closing that gap. But I definitely wanted to make sure I make use of my movement here and not give those constructs or that Quasar back there easy movement. So each score 1 point. I think I did chuck a sphere there, kind of retconning it, didn't hit anything. My temporary faith goes back up to, I think it is, I carry 2 over, and then I think I should be getting a couple number here. Like I said, we did end the round here and go into round 2. So here's the tactical. And this is one of the rare instances where I think I rolled a 6 up on my tactical, did not re-roll it for a whim. I actually rolled it up so I could win it and made him go first. So I actually won the tactical, which is pretty significant this round because this is the turn that we're going to be doing engagements. Oh, here is actually the tactical. Sorry. Take a step back there. What actually happened is I had Wind of Disorder, and I cast Wind of Disorder, revealing his construct, which I was not expecting to be his first card. I was thinking it was being something else. I put it back on the top, so he has to activate those first, and then he cast Aura of Authority. Just back there where that previous roll was actually the tactical roll. I rolled a 6, rolled it up, won the tactical. I'm activating first and going first. I move that Fang in position to attack that box if he doesn't get engaged, or that crate rather. And then this one charges just one of the constructs. He did a good job spacing them apart, so I couldn't charge both of them. I didn't choose to. There was enough room to charge that Quasar there. I didn't do that. I don't know why, to be honest with you. I think we didn't talk about how to position on the ramps really and talk that through. He was under the impression that he could kind of go up the side, which I was fine with. We didn't really clarify it in the term. So I thought I kind of already boxed them in. But even if that was the logic there, I should have charged his Quasar and the Cynwall just to grab them both and make sure he couldn't move at all. That would have been the smarter play. So he goes with Construct, moves the first one. He's not within charging, so he just moves it up. Goes with Aura of Authority, uses the Pulsar here, which has plenty of movement to get around and charge that Predator of Blood. Just rotating some models here due to TTS collision mechanics. So I think they're both going to be spun here to go back to back, and he'll get in there with the charge with the pulsar. My next activation, Predator Blood, nothing to see there. He just got charged. So his next activation, I believe, is the Quasar. Oh, nope, it's the Akamal. So he's just moving up their 10 centimeters, or 12 and a half rather. More TTS fun here of trying to balance this Akamal on the bridge without him rolling down. He goes and starts moving the other one while I kind of help him. Actually, he doesn't. He decides he's going to stand still and bullseye with that one. And these are all going to try to shoot the Sentinel here. So we measure the range. I think they're all at long range. So again, he needs 6s for most of them to roll up even. And I believe none of these hit. So prior to this, like I said, we played it over multiple sessions, and we were talking Krill's list with Gallahan. He is playing Draconic Pact, so you can cast a dragon for one spell. It comes down, automatically goes to elevation 1, is going to charge things, and then do a lot of damage. Very powerful spell, but you can only cast it once per game, and it is unique. So we were talking about when is the best case to use it. I'm under the belief that you want to use it early to kind of, do as much damage up front, so that the army is weakened to get cleaned up by the rest of the list. I can definitely see, you want to use it for the right time, and maybe since we were talking it so much, and maybe I said that, I got into his head a little bit about using it early on, to apply to your to weaken the opponent's force, and not get as much efficiency earlier on in the rounds when maybe you've already lost some stuff. But yeah, he's gonna cast it this round, and there was a lot. This round took a lot of time because neither one of us has casted it before. The interaction with the dragon and casting it is very unique. So Gal goes, he casts the dragon. The dragon immediately activates, but it's not the end of Gal's activation. The dragon goes, the dragon's allowed to shoot even though he's in hand-to-hand, and then after the dragon is done activating, Gal finishes his activation. So all that took a long time to figure out, but I cut most of that out of this game. What happened there, his Quasar charged my Fang, going around and engaging him from the back. My one tracker assaulted those crates, missed on the assault shot, so he's just going to engage them. There shouldn't be anything else that left to engage them unless the dragon is going to charge them. I'd be more than happy if the dragon charged that tracker though, so he should be able to destroy that crate this turn, get those victory points. The other tracker charged the Quasar, or the Pulsar rather, here down by the bottom right where Syriac is moving now, just to help them and clean up that fight and get a nice 2-on-1. Syriac goes, both the Sylvian he summoned last turn immediately go fly up to elevation elevation 1, get in range to charge pretty much anything, help split phrase or tie people up next turn. And then with his other last, he kind of got in a position where I thought that he was safe from the dragon. Turns out I was wrong. You'll see in a second here. And then he casted one Sylvian. The one thing I messed up this turn is I should have gone with the Sentinels first, I believe, to try to get more 5s or 6s to reroll for whim so I could cast even more Sylvians. That would have been helpful, or cast other helpful spells like Abnegation. That doesn't happen. So he walks up on the side here, puts you do need line of sight to the dragon where you cast it. We're playing Legacy Ruleset, which means base is block line of sight. So the only place he can cast it really is right there. The dragon, I think, charges 35 centimeters when because he's at elevation 1 with a dive attack. So a dive attack is also going to give you +2 initiative, +2 attack, and +2 strength. Really strong here. This is him casting it with 3 additional dice. He really didn't want to fail it, but Gal was on a full stack of 12, so he had gems to spare for sure. He gets it out. We bring out this proxy base just to not move the model, and he can put it where he wants to charge them, and we'll figure it out. Also, it's on a ramp again. It's going to end up be, so that model's not going to stand there, and we're also fighting a tree now. So yeah, he's able to charge. Line of sight's no problem because again he's at elevation 1, and yeah, he engages Syriac right there, which I thought he was in a safe spot. I didn't think there would be a place to fit a 50 centimeter base. We did do the shot wrong, so we had the shot resolved as soon as he's done charging. It's not an assault fire, and you notice the Sylvian that Syriac just summoned died. And that's because he rolled a 1, missed. It wouldn't. We rolled the deviation wrong, and we thought that it would. When he rolled damage on the Sylvian, it killed it. Did no damage to Syriac. Turns out when you roll a 1 with heavy zone artillery, it just doesn't do the shot. Also, on top of that, the shot should have been done at the beginning of the combat phase, we think. There's no really clear ruling in the FAQ or any rules, but I think that after talking about it with some other members in the community, we agreed that it was done in at the beginning of combat or part of the combat. So here's Sentinel walking up, going to shoot at that construct. He rolls a 3 and a 6. Oh wait, nope, sorry. The roll is actually double 6s right here, and that construct gets picked up. So that was a strength 12 shot. Pretty good Sentinels. He just walks up, takes a shot, and then walks back to base the barrels here to make sure we score that point. Sentinels are really good. 12.5 movement, which is less than most fangs, but they have harassment, and they're light artillery, strength 12, with 20-inch range. So they get a lot of work done. They are quite expensive, though. Otherwise, Sentinel is going to walk up and get a nice line here on these Akamals. So it will be short range. I'm declaring. So everything within 20, which will definitely be both of them. And then, yeah. So I walked up there, aim 3, I moved 4, and we said that this was impeded due to, there's a lamppost there and stuff, or obstructed rather. So they need 3 pluses. First one will hit, and I'm just gonna roll the second one again. Second one will hit as well. So damage on the first one is a strength 12. I believe that puts it at a crit. They're res 5, so it's 10 to the 2. Might only be a serious. Damage roll on the second is half, so this is only a strength 6, and roll 2 to the 3. I believe that's only a light to that one. And then he's just gonna clear out, not get too close. All right, so skipping ahead, I won the tactical, so I'm picking engagements first. We're doing the Pure Blood and Tracker. So there's 3 frays right now. There is a Quasar and Construct on a Great Fang, this Predator and Tracker on the Pulsar, and then the Dragon on Syriac. So I go on attack. I definitely want to kill this thing. Don't mind if I take a little bit damage here and there. My big thing is I'm thinking I want to kill this and then get the Predator to maybe help with the Dragon. The Dragon goes around at the end of this round, so there's really no benefit in killing it. But the Predator is pretty tanky, so my thought was if I get another body on it with Syriac, it kind of splits his dice. He'll only get 4 dice because the Dragon's also a born killer. So that's 2 dice on each, and as long as he doesn't like kill me outright or crit me on the first attack, and then walk me up. So essentially, I was thinking I'll get them on there, hopefully tank 2 shots and keep both of them is my thought. First attack with the Predator against the Pulsar, he tries to defend, it does not go through. So double 5s, I think this just kills him outright because it's 6 to the 5. So the first attack on the Predator of Blood just does him in. So yeah, here again, maybe this was the wrong thought. Maybe I should have just cut my losses and just moved them up both into better positioning. So maybe, I lucked out here. If I really wanted to get a body, I should have seen that, knowing that I have 8 centimeters of pursuit. So I have to go past Syriac's base and I'm already behind it. So that's 7 centimeters right there to get past Syriac's base, and then 1 centimeter up, which it looks, you can kind of see from here, the dragon's on like half of Syriac's base, so that's more like probably 2 centimeters. So just looking at it, I should have been able to math that out. And if I really wanted to try to split that damage, maybe I walk this tracker up. I am running Red Oak, so you see a bunch of +3 reses. This tracker right here that I'm moving does not have a +3 res, so he's only res 6 right now. So yeah, definitely. I don't know if I put him on the dragon, I feel like that's just feeding the dragon. But here is where I try to do that pursuit to get the Predator in. I get 8 centimeters of movement, and it's definitely there's still a gap there. So then he picks the dragon to activate. Syriac goes, rolls a 6. I figured even if I won, I'm not killing this dragon. I'm putting all my dice in defense, so I'm gonna reroll this 6 for Whim of Destiny and go up 4. And if I miraculously somehow live here, then I'll have more faith for next turn, which isn't really all that much faith. It would have been 1 more because I only can carry over 2 faith every turn. But we'll see here that all this was for just wasting time apparently. He goes all 3 in attack, I go all 3 in defense. He wins the tactical. Yeah, like I said, he dived attack, so he's +2 initiative, +2 attack, +2 strength. I have a charge counter on me. Oh, I do have a stun counter on me from the shot as well. So that stun counter shouldn't have been there really, because he rolled a 1, and when you roll a 1, it doesn't deviate, it just stays put, or it doesn't even fire. So maybe that would have rolled. He's doing his first attack. I'm figuring, all right, I'm just going to try to block this first one, hope he only hits me in like the legs and does a Sirius and then walks me up with the crit, and maybe somehow I live. Doesn't matter. I only roll a high of 4, and he definitely hits me. I think he's like attack 8 right now or something like that, something silly, just because he dive attacked. So his first hit, he hits arms, which isn't legs, and I think it does a Sirius. So if I would have blocked 1, I think my math would have checked out here. Or maybe it is a crit here with the arms. Second one doesn't matter. I think that pretty much kills. He rolls 4 and 5. So in Legacy, when a summoner dies, all the summons pop. So this was a pretty good, 40. He had to pay 40 points because any spell in Legacy that summons models, you have to pay for. So I had to pay, I think it's 16 points for my Sylvian. He had to pay 40 points for this dragon. And since he killed my summoner, it immediately disappears. What you just saw there is he was trying to pursuit into my Predator Blood. I think Krill blanked that. You can't re-engage a model that's already activated. And that's kind of why I was saying maybe with him losing the tactical role and me picking the first fray, he might have had the foresight to say, you know what, I'm not going to use it this round because I'm not going to be able to chew through things with that crazy dragon. Here we go on to the Fang. This is the last engagement. He has a 2v1. And yeah, so at this point, Krill has a problem, and it somehow, in order to assist him, I kill the recording. He kills that Fang pretty much with the first Master Strike, I think, from the Quasar. And then as a result, at the end of the combat, my Tracker and my Great Fang destroy the 2 crates. So at the end of that round, I go up 7 points to 8. And he didn't score any because he has nothing touching. So I got 1 from touching the barrels, and then 3 points each for destroying his 2 crates in the center there. His turn, he cast Authority during the tactical roll, 1 again, which was a great move. And then his first activation is the Constructs. And then his second activation is the Quasar here. Watching this game back now, I wonder if maybe utilizing the Kamo first activation, some of them could have charged just to tie up that, because I think he was just trying to tie up like trackers and stuff. I wonder if he was in range to potentially, with 25, tie up both the trackers with both of those Lacamos. That would have been an interesting play if he did that. He didn't, so I was able to get, my first activation was the trackers, having 2 bodies on 1 card. I was hoping one of them would get free, and then he would be able to, he's assault firing into Gal. I need a 4, miss on a 1, but he still is able to engage Gal. Now there's a bit of a misplay here. I engage him on his left side here. If I would have engaged him, so Gal immediately activates next, and he is, because I engaged him on his left side there, he can still draw from his base out of the corner of his base to see that Great Fang. And so he shackles that Great Fang, which was a misplay. If I would have moved my tracker to the right there wouldn't have been any line of sight possible for him. He wouldn't have been able to shackle that tracker. So that, or that Great Fang. So that Great Fang is just going to sit there, unfortunately. And I believe his Akamal move up. But this one, the critical one moves up. I think he's going to try to take a shot at that Great Fang. He's at like 0 though, and he moved, and I think that's still medium or long for him, so he misses. These other 2 are, he's gonna assault fire in. Risky play. He doesn't get either of the shots, unfortunately. But I think he was in desperation mode this time, and he was willing to risk the firing into a fray rolls if he were to hit it. So. There's the 2 shots. Cool thing about these construct lists is just, everything's fearless or doesn't care about fear checks. So that's a really nice benefit of the list, to just negate a whole game mechanic. My Sentinels go, I charge the Sentinel in to get a charge counter on the Quasar, also to help with initiative and just split damage. I really don't want, I think my path to victory here is I'm up on scenario. I just can't lose quickly, and a Master Striking Quasar can definitely do that if he rolls hot on a 1-on-1. So I just want another body there to maybe win initiative, put some damage on him, and just have this Predator of Blood be a menace for the rest of the game. The other Sentinel up here walks up, tries to take a shot at the, he takes a shot at that last Akamal and takes him out of the game, doing some work there. So he picks first engagement. He goes with the Construct and the 2 Akamal. I put everything in attack. That tracker, I believe, does have a Red Oaks token on it. It does, so it's pretty tanky. So I just throw everything in attack. I'm going to do as much damage, even if he kills it. Hopefully everything's on serious and crits, and the rest of my Wolfen can just mop up pretty easily, especially that one Great Fang that doesn't have any damage on him. His first attack, he does light with the Construct. I believe his other 2 Akamal whiff on their attacks. So my first attack on the construct, he's going to defend it, and he actually pulls off a nice little ambidextrous rule. In 3.5, ambidextrous, you just have to match the defense, but you gain another combat die. And Legacy doesn't adopt that change from the 3.5 rule set. And I actually like this part of it, that you immediately make instead of gaining a combat die, you still get a combat die, but you immediately get to make it against the person you parried, which is pretty cool. So he calls me out now that he's doing that. So before I can even hit on the two other Hakamals, he swings back, walks me up to a light, and now I'm on a serious. So that's a cool little mechanic that I wish would have stayed with 3.5. And I like that Legacy kind of kept it. So swinging on the Akamals, he does have one combat die on each of them. I think he doesn't defend them, and I walk them up here. Here's the other one. He does not defend that one either. Oh no, he did defend that one. And then now, okay, so he defended one of them, and then the construct is swinging. Unfortunately, only did, I think, a stun. Which a stun, whenever you have a wound counter, they're actually not cumulative. Something that we realized, Zach and I playing last week in person, we realized that it's interesting that they still want you to put the counter on there, and I think it's for if you went in during your activation and maybe you got shot, and then later in the activation somebody walks up and heals you, you would still have that stun counter on, even though you already had the wound counter. So that's maybe why they tell you to track it separately. My other attacks here, I think I just end up walking up some of the two more attacks. I did a light to that construct, and then walked up a damage roll on the Akamal. Next combat, Predator versus the Sentinel. Or Predator and Sentinel versus the Quasar, rather. I win initiative. First attack, he defends and parries, so I'm going with my Sentinel here. I notice that I go 3 in attack with the Predator, and again, I go 2 and 1 with the Sentinel. Again, I'm just trying to not lose quickly because I'm up on scenario so much. And Sentinel, I realize, have defense 4. Usually, Wolfen don't have the greatest defensive stats, but the Sentinel had a defense 4, so I thought, if I put a couple damage on him, he already has a charge counter, I could probably get this defense off and keep my Sentinel up longer, and just kind of stretch out the game. This is turn 4, so after this round there would only be 2 more rounds. So he does Master Strike, but with a light and a charge counter on him, it minuses 1 to the damage roll and then 2 to his attack roll. So I think it was only a strength 14, I want to say, damage roll versus res 11 because of red oaks and then hard boiled. So it only ends up doing a light to the Predator. Predator goes with his attack. Oh, and that Sentinel did successfully defend the other attack, so good job there. He's out of dice, I think, at this point because he Master Striked. I go with the Predator of Blood. I believe that is nothing, or a stun, which is pretty much nothing. Sentinel's going to go. Sentinel does pretty much nothing, and then the last attack from the Predator. And I think that actually does enough damage to put him on a crit. So I actually got mixed up with my rounds. This is only round 3, but still, I think I have a pretty commanding lead at this point with being up 8-1. So the Gal combat is the last one to go. I think I just skip over it, to be honest with you, because I think that we end up he goes 1 in attack, 2 in defense. He ends up doing a light to me, and I don't think I do anything to him. I think I either could do super low on damage rolls, or he defends all of them. He did sequence once down, but he has concentration, so he sequenced and then put 2 points with concentration, so he's essentially a defense 4. I have a light on me, so I'm essentially attack 4, and yeah, he just beat all my defense dice. So. Oh, it looks like this last one doesn't have enough combat dice to go through, and I think I end up doing just a light to him. So tactical roll next round. I go up 1 point, so it's now 9-1 because I still have that Sentinel engaging. Gal is going to go. He won tactical. He shackles that sad great thing that just doesn't get to play the game. Again, all could have been avoided if I just had that tracker move to the right when he had charged him and blocked the line of sight. So. The other thing he does here, he should have casted this at the tactical. We kind of forgot, but he has Chains of Automaton, which is 360 line of sight, so he can drop from his back corner to the construct there, and then he uses his last remaining gems to give that construct fierce. The only other meaningful activation, he wasn't going to try any disengagements. I'm definitely not trying to disengage for anything tricky plays. This Sentinel stands still, long range shot at those crates, trying to hit it, and he misses, just to try to destroy those crates in the back, but he does not get it. So we go first combat. It's the Akimals and the constructs. This tracker is on a Sirius, so I'm definitely expecting to lose them here. I win the engagement, and oh, sorry, this is the first combat is sorry, on the Predator versus the Quasar. So he was already on a crit. I won initiative. It just walked him up, and that was the end of it. So the last engagement, which the first one was actually Gal, and this was the round where we literally did nothing. He defended everything, and he didn't do any damage to me. So the last engagement is this tracker up at the top with the 2 Akimal and the construct left. First attack, I won initiative. I think he rolled a 1. I do double 6s to kill his construct, but it sticks around because of fierce. And then I'm attacking on the Akimal here. I think he actually blocks one of them. The other one, I do enough to walk him up, so I think both Akimal are on a crit now. Oh, okay, sorry. First attack on the Akimal, he does not defend. I do a Sirius. Second one that's already on a Sirius, I do walk up to a crit. So I have 2 attacks left. The Construct's dead. He's going to get all his swings, though, which will be 3 of them because he sequenced. And then the Akimal are swinging as well. I don't think the Akimal do any. That's a 1 there on the first attack. The second attack hits, but I believe it just does a stun or no damage. Because he's on a crit, so that last one was like strength 0 almost, I believe. Strength 1, so. So this construct goes, he attacks, moves him up to a crit. I get my last 2 attacks before this tracker is going to go down. enough to walk him up. So one Akamo dead. Second one I hit, and I walk this one up to a crit. Two more attacks left with the construct. He's going to hit, and he'll do enough to kill the tracker. So that's the end of this combat. We delete the construct as well because it had fierce and it's not going to do anything. And at this point, Krill is willing to call the game. So scenario ends 10-1. Like I said, I think we both like this. We definitely want to play it again. Thank you all for watching. If you want to do me a favor and like and subscribe, we have some things planned. I'm working on a Arclash narrative campaign. So when that comes out, hopefully in a couple months, you guys can all be informed. Thanks for watching.